Did you know that your tongue could be the key to breathing better while sleeping and even preventing sleep apnea or fixing sleep apnea and other sleeping conditions? That's because the position of your tongue when you're resting, especially when you're lying back and sleeping, could be the difference between snoring and waking up at night versus sleeping soundly and having unobstructed breathing. So I drew two different heads here, so bear with my drawing for a second. So on this left picture here, this is proper tongue posture. You can see this is supposed to be the roof of the mouth here. And on this right one, that tongue is not touching the roof of the mouth. It's more down towards the floor of the mouth. On this left one, that tongue is touching the roof of the mouth. Now, ideally, your tongue, when you're resting, should be touching the roof of the mouth. Not just the tip of your tongue, but also the middle and back part of your tongue. So this is proper mouth posture. And not just that, your lips should be closed, your mouth should be closed, and your teeth should be slightly touching. This is perfect mouth posture. Now, on this right diagram, if your tongue is not touching the roof of the mouth, and instead if it's on the floor of the mouth, then you're more likely to be breathing through your mouth. Your mouth is going to be open, and instead of having those lips closed and those teeth touching, everything's going to be open. Your lips are going to be open, your tongue is going to be in the floor of the mouth, and you're going to be breathing in and out of your mouth. Versus when your tongue is touching the roof of the mouth like this, it's actually impossible to breathe in and out of your mouth. You'll have to breathe through the nose, which is what we want. Now, there are a ton of benefits from breathing through your nose versus breathing through your mouth, and I'm not going to get into all of them in this video because I could talk for hours about that. I did put some other videos in the description below if you want to learn more about the benefits of nasal breathing. But in general, people who breathe through their nose versus people who breathe through their mouth have wider jaws, they have better jaw development, and their teeth all coming in the right place are more likely to have straighter teeth, and they're more likely to have more pronounced airway, where their breathing tubes are going to be easier to breathe for them. And mouth breathers, on the other hand, everything is constricted. Their mouth is more narrow, their teeth are more crooked, and their airway is more constricted, so it's harder for them to breathe. Also, your nose is a great filter. It filters out a lot of viruses and bacteria and dust and particles, and it keeps everything clean. It keeps your tonsils clean, it keeps your adenoids clean, so it prevents tonsil and adenoid infections, and it really promotes a healthy breathing environment. Versus breathing through the mouth, you don't get any of those benefits. Again, if you want to learn a little bit more about this and not just a brief summary like I just gave, check out those videos in the description below. But the other problem with mouth breathing that I want to talk about in this video is, let's say in this scenario, this person is lying back to go to sleep. What happens is, as he's breathing through his mouth, that tongue will start to fall back and cut off that airway. That breathing tube will start to get constricted. So it's going to be a lot harder to breathe. He's going to have a lot more turbulent breathing. By turbulent, I mean some parts of the night it'll be easier to breathe, and some parts of the night that tongue will start to fall back more and it'll be constricted. And what that does is it creates a lot of chronic stress, it creates a lot of chronic inflammation, and this is not healthy. It's going to progress and can lead to other diseases, and it can even progress into sleep apnea, which is related to a ton of other diseases like heart disease. Not only that, you're not going to be well rested, you're not going to sleep very well, you're not going to get that deep quality sleep, and your brain is not going to function as well as it could. So in this video, I want to go over some tongue exercises that will improve your sleep. So that way, if you are a person like this who is lying back and having this turbulent breathing all night long because their tongue, that you can train your tongue to become a nose breather, or at least have proper tongue posture. And in turn, this will also improve your overall posture, because your tongue isn't just a standalone muscle. It's actually a cluster of muscles that are connected to other parts of your body. It connects to your jaw, it connects to your neck muscles. So if you improve the strength of your tongue, then you can also have proper head posture. For example, another problem with mouth breathers is they tend to have a forward head posture, where over time their head starts tilting forward because their jaw is always open. It kind of pulls their head forward. Well, nose breathers tend to have a straighter head posture. And if you improve the strength of your tongue and you improve the tongue posture, then you're more likely to correct that forward head posture. So what are some signs that your tongue is affecting your breathing? Well, the number one sign is going to be snoring. Because when you're lying back and this tongue is constricting your breathing, then you're going to be more likely to snore. And the reason is more so because once your tongue is not touching the roof of the mouth, you have your soft palate here. Your soft palate is basically the back part of the roof of the mouth. The front part of the roof of the mouth is called the hard palate, and the back part is called the soft palate. When your tongue is not touching the roof of the mouth and it's going back, the soft palate of yours will start to vibrate. And that vibration is what causes that snoring sound most of the time. Some other signs are if you have a dry mouth, especially in the morning, because when you breathe in and out of your mouth, you're drying up all that saliva in your mouth, you're causing more dehydration. And again, when you are breathing through your mouth, it means you do not have proper oral posture and your tongue is not in the correct position. And another sign is if you're sleeping 8 hours and you just don't feel well rested and you're still always tired. So there are 6 exercises I want to go over with you with your tongue. They are 1, the mewing exercise, 2, tongue slides, 3, tongue push-ups, 4, tongue stretches, 5, tongue snaps, and 6, tongue swallowing. And I'm gonna go over step-by-step instructions for each one. Now let's start with 1, which is mewing. Now mewing is a really popular term. And a lot of times when I talk about this proper oral posture or having your tongue in the right position, people just say, bro, you're just talking about mewing. Like I already knew about that. Well, mewing actually became popular because of a doctor named Dr. John Mew, who was talking about these things for a very long time before me. And people heard him talking about this stuff and they started calling it mewing. But most people think that mewing is either this technique that will reshape your jaw and chisel your jawline, or it's just a bunch of baloney. All mewing is having correct mouth posture. Just like I was talking about before, it is having your tongue against the roof of your mouth, not just the tip of your tongue, but also the middle and back part of your tongue, and your teeth slightly touching and your lips closed. Now, as your tongue is in this position, it should feel kind of like a suction. It shouldn't feel like you're forcing your tongue there. It should kind of feel like your tongue is being suctioned and pushed up against the roof of the mouth. So for someone whose jaw is still developing, like a child, and they're doing this tongue posture at all times, then their jaw is more likely to grow wider and forward because their tongue is providing this constant stimulus for their jaw to grow. Versus when someone is a mouth breather, their tongue is not giving any stimulus for their mouth to grow. And that's why their jaw will stay constricted because their cheeks will keep everything narrow. So what I'd recommend is if you're just starting off with these tongue exercises is try to gradually go into these exercises. The mewing is the very first and easiest exercise. Just close your mouth, close your lips, and put your tongue against the roof of the mouth. Try to get your tongue in that position. So start with the tip of the tongue and try to roll the rest of that tongue back. And try to keep that tongue in that position for 1 to 2 minutes. If you're doing this correctly, you should not be able to breathe through your mouth. You'll have to be breathing through your nose. So number 2 are tongue slides. So this is another exercise to really improve the mobility and the strength of your tongue. What it involves is start with the tip of your tongue behind those top front teeth of yours. And for this exercise, you don't have to put the rest of your tongue against the roof of the mouth. What you want to do is slowly slide that tip of the tongue towards the back of the roof of the mouth as far as you can go. And then you want to return that tongue back to the starting position. You want to do this back and forth about 10 times. Ideally during this, you should try to keep your jaw relaxed because it's really easy to tense it up as you're moving your tongue. Number 3 are tongue push-ups. Now you can do normal push-ups if you want to, if you really want to develop your chest, but I'm specifically talking about your tongue here. For this, again, you're going to want to put your tongue up to the roof of the mouth like that proper oral posture. So have that tip of the tongue, the middle part of the tongue, and the back part of the tongue resting against the roof of the mouth. And then you're going to want to really push that whole tongue up. Try to push it basically if you're trying to break through your palate or the roof of your mouth. Trust me, you're not going to be able to break through the roof of the mouth with your tongue. Push like this for about 5 seconds and then relax. You're going to want to repeat this again about 10 times. This is another exercise where if you do it every day and consistently, you're really going to start to strengthen those tongue muscles. Now, number 4 is your tongue stretches. Now, there's a few different stretches I'm going to give you. They're going to involve stretching with your cheeks, your nose, and your chin. First, with your cheeks, you're going to want to push your tongue first against your right cheek, or if you want to start with your left one, you can. Try to push that cheek out for like 5 seconds and then take a break. And then go to the other cheek and push that cheek out for like 5 seconds and then take a break. Try to do this about 10 times for each cheek. So it'll look kind of like this. I'm not going to do it for the full 5 seconds on camera, but I hope you get the gist of it. Doing this not only builds up your tongue strength, but it'll also build up your cheek strength. And this is all going to be good for controlling your tongue, especially when you're sleeping. The next stretches are going to involve your tongue to your nose and your tongue to your chin. And this is more so to improve the strengthening of your tongue and also improve the flexibility of your tongue. So just like it sounds, first try to stick that tongue out and touch your nose. And hold that position for 5 seconds, and then do the same thing and try to touch that tip of your tongue to your chin and hold that for 5 seconds. So first try to touch your nose for 5 seconds, and then try to touch your chin. Again, try to shoot for doing this about 10 times, 10 for your nose and 10 for your chin. If you want to alternate doing 1 rep of your nose and 1 rep of your chin, or do 10 reps of your nose first and then 10 reps of your chin first, it's all the same. Now next up is number 5, which are tongue snaps. And now these are some of my favorite exercises with your tongue. And the reason is this not only strengthens your tongue, but it can also improve your posture. So if you have like a forward head posture, this is a way to get a natural neck lift. So what you want to do is put your tongue against the roof of the mouth, again with that proper oral posture. So have your whole tongue against the roof of the mouth. And then you want to do a really wide smile. And when you do this wide smile, you're going to start to engage your neck muscles. And then open your mouth and drop that jaw until your tongue falls off of the roof of the mouth. And it's going to kind of sound like a snap. So it'll look like this. So when you're doing this, you're not only strengthening your tongue muscles, but you're also strengthening your neck muscles. And over time, you're going to slowly start to pull that head back and keep that head straight. I've even found when I do this exercise, it actually helps with my neck pain, because as a dentist, a lot of times I'm looking down when I'm seeing patients and my neck can start to get sore. But as I do this exercise, it actually improves those symptoms I have. Now for this exercise, it's better to do about 20 to 25 times, and you can do like 1 to 2 sets. Now the last exercise I want to talk about are tongue swallows. No, I'm not telling you to swallow your tongue, but your tongue should be the main muscle that you use when you swallow your food. So next time you're eating your food, for a couple minutes, try just focusing on your chewing and try thoroughly chewing that food. But also see when you swallow that food, what muscles are involved. Are you like straining your neck muscles? Are you straining your cheek muscles or anything like that? Or does it feel natural, and are you just using your tongue? Ideally, your tongue should be rolling that bolus of food back to the back of your throat. So it should start with the tip, and then your tongue should kind of roll against the roof of the mouth to push that food back. So an exercise you can do to strengthen this is bite your tongue and then try swallowing. So it'll look kind of like this. I'm biting my tongue, and then I swallow. What this does is it kind of forces you to engage your tongue and your swallowing muscles in your mouth. I know that sounds kind of weird, but try doing this for like 10 reps. So you might find as you might start to get some saliva build up or start to drool or something like that. It's okay, you can stop, kind of swallow your saliva, and then go back to trying this exercise. But all of these exercises are designed to strengthen your tongue in one way or another. Well, ideally you should do something every single day. That way you stay consistent and you keep strengthening those tongue muscles. But you don't have to do every single exercise. So for example, I like to do some of these exercises when I'm driving. Like when I'm driving to work, I have about a 30-minute drive, I'll do some tongue snaps. I'll start putting my tongue against the roof of the mouth and I'll start snapping it. Now I drive alone to work. So I can do all these exercises and I won't weird anybody out around me unless someone is watching me from another car, which could be weird, but it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, driving is a great time where I'm not really doing anything else, where I could be doing some of these exercises and strengthening my tongue. So that way I'm not wasting time at a specific period of the day to start doing these exercises. But again, you don't have to do all of them, just pick a couple. One day I'm gonna do these first 2 exercises, and tomorrow I'm gonna do the next 2. So it's only gonna take like a few minutes out of your day, but it's really gonna go a long way in strengthening your tongue. And if you wanna add more exercises, you always can. Like if you wanna go a full round and do every single exercise, by all means, go for it. It's even gonna be better for your tongue. But you wanna take it slow. If it starts to feel like your tongue is getting really sore or something like that, or you feel like you're doing too much, just start with 1 or 2 exercises and then take it slow from there. You might also wanna do some of these exercises in front of a mirror at first. That way you can kind of see if you're doing it right and see what you look like. But anyway, I hope this video helped you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know in the comments if any of these exercises are helping you or someone you know sleep and stop snoring. And as always, please hit that thumbs up button and subscribe to my channel below. And I will see you in the next video. Have you ever wondered when the best time to take your child to an orthodontist could be? Like, how do you know if their teeth are gonna come in straight? And how do I know if I'm gonna go too early or gonna go too late? I mean, is there a specific time that everyone should be going? Well, the answer is yes and no, because everybody is different, so it would make sense that sometimes you want to go at different